Let's do this, you strange whore.
Oh, strange whore.
You're gonna fucking talk to me about some things, Iguan. What?
Why? You start the podcast and then you just start watching stories on your phone when there's a mic in your face?
Silent. It's fine. I'm professional.
Oh my god.
Honestly. I am the most professional person.
You're the most professional person at irritating me. Cheers.
You fucking loser. You just put a timer on?
Yeah, for the camera. Basically, if you're watching this on YouTube, I didn't even drink.
Such bad luck.
If you're watching this on YouTube, it keeps cutting out because my camera...
It's crap.
...is amazing, but Canon, basically, if you have a camera that can record continuous video over 30 minutes, you get taxed extra, because then it's classed as a video camera.
Your lips look very spongy.
Thanks. That has nothing to do with what I'm talking about.
Continue.
But so my Canon camera doesn't record continuous audio past 30 minutes and it just shuts off and there's no resolution for it.
Yep.
So if anyone has any ideas, let me know, because I'm not very good with video, but I know photo. So this is, I don't really understand.
That's about it. You need some help. That's it, basically. What you're trying to say. Because you don't know how to do your job. You can't carry your part of the podcast, your small part in this podcast.
My small part in this podcast? Really?
Yeah.
You need to learn to be appreciative of everything that I do for you, because this podcast wouldn't exist without me.
It also wouldn't exist without me. So what are you trying to say?
You're the reason that we didn't post last week.
So? And
that now it's a Saturday and somehow we're filming.
So what?
Ugh.
What's your point?
My point is that you're irritating.
Yeah. Okay. Point proven.
And then another thing I want to address is the freaking comments on the podcast are all talking about how many ads we have on the videos.
Yeah, we're trying to get that Monet.
But I don't have...
You're going to put loads of adverts in. It was all your fault, wasn't it? Come on. I didn't press anything different.
It just YouTube just does the monetization for you. Mm-hmm. And so I don't understand why everyone's seeing so many ads. But Matt watched the whole thing and he said I only got 2 ads. So I don't know if people are lying or I mean,
if they just want to donate directly, it's fine.
Yeah. I mean...
We are trying to make that Monet.
Look, we
need that ad money so we can get that free Nando's once a month.
No. The ad money
way less than that.
Contributes to the alcohol fund.
Yes.
And the alcohol fund presents this podcast. So let's all be a little bit more appreciative of the ads. That's it.
Fair enough.
It's really not that deep. But just watch the ads. And shut up.
You're running... Anyone who's listening... Don't give us any critiques, so keep your fucking mouth shut.
No, give us critiques, just not about
But
ads.
also keep your mouth shut. You're running the agenda today, so go for it. I don't fucking know what's happening. I'm essentially a guest. This is gonna be with Vincenzo Borrelli.
Only further proving the point that you cannot do this on your own.
No, you wanted to
Why?
do this.
No. You're gonna mess up the tally.
What?
If you pour yourself a glass when you haven't finished
I'm gonna pour myself
another
another full glass.
Okay, then you have another tally on the board.
Yeah, okay, cool. I'm beating you. Fucking step you wine.
Do you want to tell people about... Whoa! Vincenzo!
We do this podcast for a long time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but that doesn't... I'm never sharing a crate of wine with you ever again because this is just unreal.
We should do it.
You have 10 tallies of wine glasses on the board. I have 4.
I have a new way to do it. I think...
We should go by the bottle.
No, what we should do is we should... I'll pay... for every crate, and what we do is at the end of the crate we drink it at our own pace. Okay,
I'm never gonna get any.
Yeah, we drink. No, we will drink it.
I will never
drink
get
at your own
any.
Pace.
If you drink it at your own pace, you will drink the whole crate the first day it arrives. Why are you not comprehending?
Okay,
so
the
if first 3 days.
My idea is we do it like a restaurant does it, which is.
Oh my god, no.
It's the fairest way.
It's the fairest way for you because you drink faster than everyone else.
Yeah, exactly.
And you have a lack of self-control.
No,
and when something is put in front of you, you have to drink it all.
Self-control issue aside.
So you admit you have a problem.
Yeah, obviously. I drink more than you anyway.
Yeah.
And I like to drink more than you. So what's fair is we both get to drink however much you want to drink. So what we do is I pay for the crate. Then what we do is we keep a tally, but there's no judgment, like from you horrible woman.
I will be judging.
There's no judgment, and we just mark down how much we're drinking. And what we do is, at the end of the month, you send me... So say, okay, cool, this crate of rum was 50 quid. Mm-hmm. If I drink 4 out of 6 of the bottles, and you have 2, then you only pay me... I can't do the maths in my head. Like what? 20-something pounds.
Your math is
20
really
quid roughly.
Astonishing.
Or we do it like that. We try and find a bottle of wine that's £10 a bottle.
No,
and I'll pay for it initially, and then you pay me back in what you drink.
No, what I want to do is we buy the crate, we split it. The crate is 6 bottles.
I need to buy my own bottle of whiskey again.
See,
Fuck you. Just buy your own wine.
I bought this with the idea that it was going to be mine, and then you finished your bottle of whiskey, so then you wanted half of it. What we should have done from the start is divided up 3 bottles each, and we can each drink our 3 bottles at our own pace, which means you can finish your 3 bottles in the first day, and I'll take a month to drink
Yeah, we
mine.
should have just put 2 in the fridge, shouldn't we?
Yeah, and you can have yours and I can have mine.
Yeah, but what about if you... take 3 years to finish your bottles,
then that's
and then
on
I
me.
want to buy some more.
I don't give a fuck
about
that
me.
Is your
you don't
problem.
care about me.
No, I don't care about how you're trying to drink all of my alcohol.
Like I like drinking together, and that means that if we're at home and you want to have 1 glass in the night, in that night I might have 3 glasses, which is usually how it goes. So what's wrong with that?
It means that I will never have the same. I'm paying the same amount of money, and yet I'm not
my
getting.
system. You're not paying the same amount of money.
I want 3 bottles to myself. That's why I shared a crate with you. I'll take 6 to myself and I'll drink it over 3 months. I don't give a fuck. I want the wine.
Ugh. Over 3 months, 6 bottles in 6 days.
See, I think that you have something mentally wrong with you.
I do. It's really bad. Gambling problem, wine problem, food problem.
Self-control problem.
Yeah, I refuse to work. It's weird that I don't throw that energy into my work, you know?
That's what I wanted to talk about today.
Oh, God.
Is how
is this an intervention or is this a fucking podcast?
This is what I wanted to talk about, is your issues.
My issues?
That would need a whole other, on its own podcast, just to discuss all of the things I have an issue with about you.
Okay, go. It's only like the 4th podcast. You can't air out all our relationship issues in one podcast.
You know what my biggest issues with you is?
Go on, go.
You...
Oh, hilarious.
No. You don't want to kill bugs.
Oh,
and honestly, it makes me question our future together. Because there's... Okay, granted, we don't have a lot of bugs in our apartment. If I ever catch you
killing any small animal... Insect, anything, whatever it is. If you kill something unnecessarily, I'm going to smack you up.
Listen, I'm not going to say I'm going to kill an animal because I won't. Wait, I will say I'll never kill an animal, but I'm not going to say I won't kill insects. Like when there's at home, sometimes I'll have like a spider in my bathtub.
Don't do it.
My enjoyment of turning on the shower and just washing it and go down the rain.
Potential psychopath. You might murder someone. Cool. Starts off with insects, then you're going to start pulling its legs off. Then you're going to kidnap a toddler, and it's going to escalate.
I mean, this has been going on for like decades.
Yeah, I get it.
And I'm not pulling legs off. I just want them to be out of my space.
Our fear of tiny insects that can't hurt you is irrational.
You're not afraid.
No, as in the human race.
You pick them up and like you cuddle them and it freaks me out.
So what? I name my spiders when they fucking are on me and shit.
It's not okay.
The last one was called Kevin.
It's not okay. Like, okay, so last night there was this random little bug in our bathroom floor. I don't know.
We need to investigate. They're like
long and skinny?
Long. They look like sperm.
Yeah.
Silver sperm.
But, like, not microscopic. Like, you can actually see it.
Yeah, enlarged silver sperm.
But they're not that big. It's probably, like, smaller than your fingernail.
Oh, so much smaller. What are you talking about? They're
like,
tiny.
lengthwise.
Yeah.
But anyway, so there was one on the floor, and it was, like, creepy crawling around. And I almost stood on it, which is what...
You mean almost stood on it? You tried to kill it?
Yeah. I had the intention to end its life.
Yeah.
It doesn't even have a brain. It can't compute.
What do you mean it doesn't have a brain? What planet are you living on? What? Sorry, what? It's not a jellyfish.
Yeah, it is.
Is it?
Insects to me are
You don't even know what insect it is. So
a bother.
How can you then go into the anatomy of an insect?
They are a bother.
They're not.
You know what? This is my theory. When they're outside and I'm outside with them, I won't touch them.
Uh-huh.
But when they come into my home, it is my... I can do whatever I want. You can stay outside and survive. But when you come into my bathroom, you will die.
No,
because
that's not how it works.
you're going to lay eggs and it's going to be a problem for me.
What? Lay eggs?
Yep.
You don't even know what insect this is.
I don't know. I don't care. It freaking crawls.
Uh-huh.
And it takes its little insect body, and it's probably making babies in our bathroom right now because you wouldn't let me kill it.
No,
we're going to have an issue.
If you are being harassed by a fly, you can bat it away, but you can't aim to kill it. Like, you can push it away. If there's a wasp near you that's like around you, and even if you're not allergic, no one wants it to sting you. See, like, excuse me,
That's an insect in your throat that's trying to kill you right now.
Wasps are different because they're not going to kill you, and even the sting, is man up. Do you know what I mean?
But I'm allergic.
Yeah, okay. Your case is very different, but also, like, don't kill one unless it's trying to... Even if it's around your shit, just move a little bit. Like what we do when we're on holiday and we just fucking leave the table.
Do you remember?
Yeah. In Francomanca.
Yeah.
That was hilarious.
We were basically eating... I mean, we were eating outside at Francomanca in Kensington.
Yeah.
And
South Ken. Good old South
Ken. And they have like a couple outdoor tables, and we finessed that table. Do you remember that couple that was like staring at us?
And we were just
and they were so mad that we got the table. So anyway, we sat down, we ordered, and there were bees that would just not leave us alone when our pizza came out.
That was one wasp.
Was it one?
Yeah,
I swear
bees.
it was multiple.
No, it went away for a little bit and then came out.
And it just kept hovering over our pizzas. And because I'm allergic, I would just get up and walk away. And everyone around us thought it was so funny. And we ended up... What ended up happening?
We just manned it up and just kept getting up. And it just took like an hour and a half to eat a small pizza.
Did we eat inside?
Nope.
Did it fuck off?
Yeah, the guy killed it or caught it. I don't know.
He killed it. But the people who worked there thought it was the funniest thing ever.
Yeah, it was jokes. We're big pussies. I mean, like, I don't want to kill it. I should just man up and, like, catch it in a glass, but I'm not a real man, so it doesn't really,
Yeah.
I just pretend I'm allergic.
But then when there's, like, a spider, you, like, pick it with your hands and, like, free it into the world, and honestly, that's just not okay.
Yeah, it's
just
fine.
kill it.
No, why? Why would you kill it?
Because it's in your home. Like, when you go into the ocean and a shark eats you, that's fine because you're in their home.
You
encroached on their domain.
I'm not religious at all. But if I had to believe in anything, it would definitely be reincarnation. And I feel that, like, if you kill insects, they might come back as something else and just fuck you up. Do you know what I mean?
I'll take that risk.
No, I'm not. I don't believe in that.
I'm fully fine with taking that risk.
You just shouldn't kill stuff.
It's a
for no
fucking
reason. For what reason?
Crawly.
Yeah, what's it going to do to you?
Hurt me.
Oh, yeah? How?
It's going to procreate in our bathroom, lay eggs, and we're going to have a freaking problem.
And that's hurting you how?
What do you mean? I don't want to live in an infested home.
Of what?
Bugs.
That's not happened, and that isn't happening.
You don't know. I've killed all of them.
Well, when the bug infestation comes, you can come and kill them all. But until then, no. There's no way.
The bug infestation will happen because you're not.
No. It hasn't yet. We haven't killed anything, and what hasn't happened?
I honestly think
that
this is a huge issue between us.
Why? You're a freak. Stop murdering things.
I actually think it's because we don't really have problems in our relationship. So, like, the minuscule...
You make things up.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm delusional.
Glad you know. At least you know that it's definitely all you.
It's kind of fun. Okay, moving on. What I wanted to talk about today with you is how you got your start in fashion. Because you have a very unique and interesting story. You didn't go along the normal path. I don't know what the normal path is.
Yeah, it's not that.
But I feel like I'd like you, because I feel like there's tons of people that listen to you that want to have a job like yours. And it would be nice for them to hear about, like, your path to where you are today.
Okay.
So, you started as a man with hair.
Yep.
And
Well, you gonna interview me for this, or am I just gonna have to fucking?
Okay, when
out?
did you first?
I'm your guest today. I'm telling you.
When did you first realize that you had an interest in fashion and that was something you wanted to work in?
I vividly remember a conversation when I was in secondary school. I've always been obsessed with clothes, and like even
Define
when I
secondary school. Like what grade? Give me an age frame. No one.
Sorry, hang on. Everyone listening knows what secondary school is. You don't.
If you're on my side of the pond, you have no idea what secondary school is. Hearing the word secondary school is a big question mark.
Is you finish it's your GCSEs. So it's the one before
As if I'm meant to know that.
college.
Okay,
Our
so
college.
So
it goes secondary
15,
school.
16?
Yeah, you finish at 16. Secondary school, college, uni.
So
Yeah.
you were probably 15, 16.
When I finished, yeah.
So when this question arose.
No, it was it wasn't secondary school. It was halfway through college. So I did an extra year at college because I just fucked about for my first year. Which, like, we literally skipped lessons when it was sunny outside, like
Nice.
hours of lessons, and even like what I was saying about secondary school is I've always been obsessed with clothes and like looking the best, even if I wasn't interested in fashion. I just always wanted the coolest clothes, and like I went out and bought like specific clothes that my friends were wearing to go and hang out in the park. Like I never had like joggers and a Nike t-shirt and Adidas trainers to go and hang out in the park, and I was like, that's what I thought chavs were. And then I saw my mates at the park for the first time ever, and they're all wearing this shit, and I was like, fuck, I need all this.
So what did you buy? Do you remember?
Yeah, like fucking Nike t-shirts and just whatever. Just like our thing was like, for Christmas one year I wanted like £120 G-Star jeans, and that like blew my friends' minds in secondary school. Probably didn't. It blew my mind anyway. And like I was obsessed with people who had like the newest G-Star jeans. Like, oh my
That's
god,
cute.
they've got like Fred Perry pumps and G-Star jeans on, like, and a Lacoste polo. They must be fucking like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was obsessed with that sort of shit, and like going to like the Ralph Lauren outlet store was the best thing ever.
Yeah.
And you definitely need that closer to you, bro.
Have you seen your levels, bro?
Bro, don't fucking talk to me about levels, bro. I'll give you levels.
Vocalize your words.
I'll vocalize your face.
I don't even know what that means.
But yeah, it's just like, it's one of those things where I've just always been obsessed with clothes. I wasn't doing like amazingly at what I wanted to do originally, which is going to like psychology, sociology, that sort of business. And I sat down in my lounge with my mum one day, and my mum was just like, I think my mum and dad were there, and I remember it being my mum asking me the question, but I think my dad was there as well. And I have this vivid memory, he says, can't remember anything. I have this vivid memory of like this one conversation they had of like, look, Enzo, what do you like? It's like, I'm obsessed with clothes.
Yeah.
And then she was just like, okay, cool, well, why don't you do that? Like, why don't you do fashion?
Yeah.
So then halfway through my second year, I changed what I wanted to apply for and go for uni in college, and ended up going to uni in Birmingham for a year. During that year, I met like Leon and blah, 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 and started going to London a lot, and I met like Harris and he was a creative director, and I just started going to London like 2-3 times a week on my own, meeting random people, just like doing whatever. And then after I met Harris, he said something amazing. I think I've talked about this before on this.
No, like super, super briefly.
But yeah, he just basically said, like, it depends on where you get your information from. Uni's not bad, but it doesn't mean it's the be-all and end-all. And I ended up just getting a job on Harrods shop floor.
How did you get that job?
4.5, just applied. And I just got it because I'm an absolute fucking bad man.
No. Slow down.
I literally just applied randomly.
Okay, but talk about All Saints.
And Moss.
Yeah, you never talked about them.
Just worked in All Saints. Like, I was obsessed so much with clothes when I first...
How did you get the All Saints job?
I'm like very persistent, and I had this thing in my head where I didn't get my first job until I was 18. Or was it 16? 16 or 18. I forgot what it was. It must have been 18. And I was obsessed with the fact that I wanted to work at All Saints, because I was obsessed with All Saints at the time.
Yep.
And I handed my CV in about 12 times before they gave me a job. And then one day, the last time I handed my CV in, the manager came running out and he was like, hey, do you want to do like an interview in like an hour? and it was for a 4-hour-a-week contract, so that's half a day on Saturday.
You have to sign a contract for that?
Yeah, of course you do. And he was like, do you want a 4-hour... It's like, this is the contract, whatever. They interviewed me, and on the bus on the way home, they called me like, cool, you've got the job. And I was like, unbelievably gassed. Like,
that's so cute.
Super duper gassed. And I worked there for a little bit, and then one of the managers that I used to work with just like never liked me, and like they tried to get me in trouble for like looking in the mirror and yawning on the shop floor.
What?
Wait,
I've never heard about this.
Yeah, oh my god. So I was sat in the disciplinary, and like this guy just didn't like me, and they just thought I didn't work hard, and there was just nothing I didn't do. I did everything they told me to do. I sold like the average amount. I was just not a trouble person at all.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's what all of
so
your past
weird.
managers have an issue with you about.
Yeah, I know. I'm very like anti-authority. It's really bad.
No, but you're very like lackadaisical, but you still get everything done that they ask you to do, and they get mad at that.
Yeah, it's a problem. For sure, it's a problem. And yeah, and I just remember being in like the disciplinary, and they were like, cool, so like some of the notes we made is like, we've noticed you like yawning on the shop floor, like have you been like going out in the evenings, or like are you getting enough sleep, this and this, because we think it's affecting this and this. And I was like, it's like, guys, like I don't think I've been yawning a lot on the shop floor, so I don't know what you want me to tell you. Like, it's like, well, okay, I need to write down your side of the story on notes or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, cool. Can you write down humans yawn sometimes? And it was one of my most badass moments in my life, because they both just couldn't say anything. And I was just looking at them. I said, I sometimes yawn because I'm human. And they just looked at me, and they both didn't know what to say. And I was like, guys, like I don't know what you want me to say.
You are such a piece of shit.
Well, how are you going to pull me aside for like touching my hair too much, or like fucking yawning too much? It's like, well, that doesn't mean anything. I wasn't not doing my job. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not like fucking All Saints shop floor is the most difficult job in the world. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. That is so funny.
So then like they did that, and I was like, cool, fuck you guys. I'm going to get a new job. And I was like, I should
Did they fire you? Or did you decide to leave?
No, I left. Like very shortly after that, because I was like, you're all cunts. You're going to try and put me on this path of like, once someone puts you under disciplinary and someone doesn't like you, basically it costs money, and it takes around like 7 to 9 months if you really want to fire someone in retail. Like if you really want to get rid of someone,
Really?
Unless they do something crazy. In England it's so difficult to get rid of someone.
In the States, like they could fire you on within a second.
That's
and
mad.
You know what sucks even more? Not to get really political here, but I'm just gonna slide one in really quick.
Okay.
A lot of grounds, so legally you have to have grounds for dismissal, which is like why you fire someone. And a lot of like lower income jobs, like minimum wage jobs, where you don't really need a lot of skills to do, so like retail or like working in a restaurant, if your manager doesn't like you, they can really easily fire you. But the person who's getting fired doesn't have the education or the funds to like pursue it legally, because they're actually being fired for like they don't have grounds for dismissal, so they could sue them, which isn't a very American thing.
No, it happens here too.
But
you can get
it just sucks because
dismissal.
It puts people in a really shitty position. And they don't know that they're legally not, like, they have a case, is what I'm saying. Yeah. Because they are a minimum wage worker, and it breaks my heart. So anyway.
I fucked off to there, and I was like, I want some formal training, and I thought that Moss Brothers, not a good store or anything to learn anything, but the people that I work with are really cool there, like older people. Which was nice.
This was a tailoring place, right?
And it was like a suit place, and it's like...
Is it a chain?
Yeah, it's like the entry level suit places you can get, and it's like wedding for hire and shit like that. But although, to be fair, I did learn a lot. And like I was obsessed with like what was happening with like the London tailoring world and Savile Row and all the fucking nerdy research that I do anyway.
Is that where you'd say that you got your love for tailoring from, or where you learned more about tailoring?
I learned a lot from there, but just because like it pushed me to do it because I wanted that job so bad. But like it's really weird. Like this is how far behind Derby is. Like I remember Stuart, my old manager. He's so nice. And it was just
Such
so funny.
A British name.
I know. And he and like the first day I came in and I had like loafers on and I'd like turned my trousers up on my suit. They were like, "What's going on here?" Like told me to put socks on and like turn them down and taking the piss the entire time. Next season's campaign, guy with my suit on, trousers turned up, no socks and loafers on, and I was just like, "You see this shit? I'm a fucking genius." And like from then on, they like respected me. Legitly, it was really funny. It wasn't as deep as what I'm saying, making it out to be, but yeah, it was. I used to like have my long hair.
Yep.
My long ass hair, my fucking Johnny Depp facial hair, and like a checkered 3-piece suit, like
awful.
Fucking turned up trousers and loafers on. I've always been a loafer man. But yeah, and then I moved to London after that because I was working that job whilst I was on a year. So I didn't actually quit uni straight away. I deferred for a year.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I wasn't in uni. I was just working, saving up some money to kind of go to London with, and like saving up more money. So like I was working part time, and like making my own money, which was cool. Working part time, and then like just going to London on my days off and like meeting up with people and doing shit. And then I was like applying for jobs. One of the first experiences of like working a job in London was actually I went for the day, and I went for a half shift trial in Y3 in Covent Garden, which was cool.
Did you like that?
Yeah, and they actually offered me the job, but it was part time, and it was just like it was very difficult and very weird. Like I couldn't really.
What was so in that time frame? What was your like dream job? Like, what did you want? And like, where do you think your head was at? Like, where?
Oh, so the two jobs that I actually had an interview for, the first proper two jobs, and my first round of interviewing, which I got the job from Harrods from. Fortunately, didn't have to interview a lot. I was. Acne are gonna love this. I've never told this story to Max or Lindsay either. I need to tell them this. I need to tell it to Luca as well.
We need to go to Paris.
I know, so bad. We should go and visit him. That'd be really cute.
We have so much fun.
Hang around in the Acne fucking
showroom.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
Sorry, go on.
I've never told them any of this. My first two jobs I had an interview for that I was really, really confident on. So I went to London for the day, and it's the camera turned off again. We got time?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I went to London for the day, and I had two interviews. One, I remember like I had to take two suits with me because I had a black suit from. No, I didn't have a black suit. What did I interview in? Fuck's sake, I can't remember. But I had my Harrods interview, and I had my Acne Studios interview, and I had what I thought was the coolest fucking outfit for the Acne interview. And when I first got those first two interviews, I actually really, really wanted the Acne job over the Harrods job. And I really didn't want to work with Harrods. And my mum forced me and pushed me to go to Harrods and said, like, this would be really good, probably pays more, you probably get more benefits, blah, 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 blah. And it turned out to be really good, and here I am. But I really wanted the Acne Studios job, and I was
what
wearing
was the Acne job versus the Harrods job?
Shop floor for both.
Okay.
One was Valentino brand manager, and the other one was just shop floor in Acne.
You did Valentino.
Well, that was it was really weird because I was like, when I first started on the first day, and I met James for the first day. I was I was like, it was really weird, and like I'm surprised I didn't like say anything. But on the website, it was like a Valentino brand manager that I went for.
Yeah.
And I was like, cool, like, where's Valentino? And they were like, what? And I was like, yeah, like, it said Valentino brand manager, but whatever, it's like, this is the job. And he was like, oh, no, like, everyone says that. It's like, you just on the shop floor in here.
Lower basement.
Yeah. And
yeah, no one's really like a brand manager.
No, they are now.
Just kind of
no, they are now,
really?
But not when I first started. Yeah, not when I first started. There was like two people that were brand managers. But I was when I met James, and I was like blown away because I thought, first of all, I thought James was the manager, if you can believe. And then second of all, he was wearing like Tom Brown brogues, and they're like 900 quid. And this is when I had the most fashion-y clothes I had was like a Rick Owens t-shirt, a Dami Adoma t-shirt, and like some Raf Simons Sterling Ruby jeans that I got on sale. And that was all I had. And
you probably met James and you're like, this guy is so sick.
Yeah, he was in Tom Brown trousers and Tom Brown brogues and a Tom Brown he was wearing a Tom Brown suit at work, and I was like, you go to work in a Tom Brown suit, and I was blown away. And
that is so cute.
And now I've got more clothes than you, James. Fuck you. No, I'm kidding. He's got so many more clothes than me still. But yeah, it was just really weird. And then I really, really wanted the acne job, and I didn't get the acne job, but I did get off the Harrods job. So I took the Harrods job. I was going to Harrods every day, and I lived with my brother and his friend Nick in their like awesome apartment for a month. And
that was
then I
in
moved
like
out.
East London, right?
Yeah, and then I moved out and went to Maida Vale. And now
so
Harrods,
you lived
here I am.
with Zach, and then you did Maida Vale.
Mm-hmm.
And then when was the Blue Room? Was that after Maida Vale?
No, I lived in Maida Vale, and then did I go and live with Lewis straight away after that?
You were in Maida Vale with Lewis, weren't you?
No, I think after that I lived with Lewis.
I thought you were in Maida Vale with Lewis.
How many times did I fucking move?
You moved like 6 times including this place, is what you told me.
I would live with Zach for a month. I lived in Maida Vale. Then I lived with Lewis. Then I moved out on my own for a little bit.
Wait, what? You lived on your own?
No, like that was the place in Warwick Avenue with the Blue Room where you met me for the first time. Warwick Avenue.
Warwick Avenue was with
Then
Lewis.
I lived in Paddington with Sanj and Sarah and Kay. And then what are you laughing at?
Nothing.
And then I lived with you.
Wait. You
So
lived
six.
in Maida Vale
This is
and
six.
you lived
This
in
is
Warwick.
the sixth place.
You lived in Warwick Avenue and Maida
So
Vale?
I lived in Old Street,
Yeah.
which is ironically where I work now. Lived in Old Street. Then I lived in Maida Vale. Then I lived in Dollis Hill. Never go there. But that was
Dollis
really
Hill
fun.
is where you had to take like a bus and then a train and then a bus.
No, a bus to a train and then walk to work, yeah.
Oof.
So, but that was really fun. I love that house. And that was the house I was in when I met Khalifa.
You've known him that long?
Yeah, I've known Khalifa forever now. So, Old Street, Maida Vale, Dollis Hill, Warwick Avenue, Paddington,
and then here.
Baker Street. Yeah.
Maybe don't say.
I live somewhere on Baker Street, guys. Good luck finding me. Go for it.
You know Baker Street's not even that long, right?
Yeah, but there's a lot of places that are considered Baker Street. Again,
Okay.
Try and find me, motherfuckers. Go for it.
Wait, okay, so the Blue Room was Warwick Avenue?
Yeah.
Isn't that so funny that our first FaceTime was in that room, and then it was the day that your parents came into London and they helped you move into Paddington and you went to the Pink Floyd exhibit, and I remember you sent me a photo of your t-shirt.
Mm-hmm.
And we like talked about it for so long.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like my first like memory of
When
us.
you were just like, this guy's the fucking one. That's what you were like, right?
No.
Okay. Sure. You love me. Don't
Yeah, I do.
deny it.
Okay, so you started working at Harrods.
Yep.
And we're going to split whatever's at the end of that bottle.
Are we?
Yeah.
I'm going to drink all of it.
I'm going to be mad at you.
You've got a lot left for you.
Yeah, but I'm going to freaking gulp this up.
Why?
Because I want to.
Don't gulp it up. Take your time.
Well, I want half. Oh my god. So you don't love me.
Yeah, you can have a little bit out of my glass.
Such a dick. That's a tally for you, mister.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so in hindsight, would you have, if you were offered both the acne and the Harrods job?
I would have gone for the acne job
But-
immediately.
Hold on, that's not what I asked. Knowing what you know now about where you are now, would you still wanted to have taken the acne job, or are you happy with what Harrods gave you?
No, if I got the acne job, I wouldn't have met people who would have pushed my fashion into what it is now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm very grateful to like everyone I work with on the shop floor, like especially like James and Sanj and Yev and like everyone
You
who I
met
worked in that room
so many
who like
people at
influenced
Harrods.
my style and like pushing me more into fashion and becoming who I am and like getting me into what I'm in, because like if I was in acne, it would have been a lot smaller team. I would have probably got into whatever they were into. My love for fashion would have still been there, but it would have been obviously very acne centric. what would have been cool is that I probably still would have met Max and Lindsay.
Yeah.
Been cool with them, which is fun. But yeah, I really wanted acne at the time, but looking back, I definitely would just keep it as it is. I'm still super fucking young, and I've only moved to one place after Harrods, so like I don't want to. I think everything's as it should be, I'm really happy that what it shaped me into being.
Yeah,
Do you know
I think that you learned. I mean, I didn't know you at the time, but I know what has come out of working at Harrods.
Mm-hmm.
And just being in London and having the amount of years that you worked at Harrods and having what you were the youngest personal shopper.
Mm-hmm.
Like having those things that you were at Harrods, because Harrods is such a big name, I think has really like grown you into who you are today. Acne's so much smaller. You wouldn't have grown your love for all these different brands.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know you at the time, but also the amount of people that you know from working at Harrods is insane. Like, when we go around London, one of our favorite things to do is we just, like, wander around. We go to different shops and, like, I don't even know. How would you even describe that?
We just go to loads of fashion stores and see people that we like.
Yeah, and like, everywhere we go, someone comes up to you and you used to work with them somewhere. Mm-hmm. Or you encountered them at something. Mm-hmm. And there's just people everywhere, and you just know everyone, and it's slightly intimidating.
That's not true.
Yes,
I know fuck all people.
So...
I'd like to know more. I'm not like Josh. I'm not like Josh or Lewis. Not to bring this back up again, but they know. They both know. Oh, Josh wants to come on, by the way.
Yes.
Next week.
So you got to Harrods.
Yep.
How did you go from shop floor to personal shopper?
Just went crazy for 3 weeks, 3 months trying to sell stuff.
That's it?
Yeah,
it was only 3 months.
We did when the China boom happened. I did 100k on the shop floor every month for 3 months.
Nice.
And they were like, "Cool," but I'm fortunate because Thomas Buckland, my manager at the time, he was he's got a great attitude, which I told you the other day. No, I wasn't talking to you about this. I was talking to Phil about this, which is that like there's a lot of Americanisms that I love. And one thing is that...
Is he American?
Huh?
Is he American?
No.
Oh.
You'll understand in a second. There's a lot of Americanisms that I love, and one thing is hiring someone that you trust and with a work ethic, which doesn't happen a lot over here. We're very like, you've got to have it in your CV, blah, 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 whatever. I mean, there's some of that, but not as much as I imagine in America. And like, he's someone who's like, I don't give a fuck if you can do the job or not. Like, anyone can learn to sell and do this job. You've got to have good fashion knowledge, and I have to like you, and you've got to be unique. Mm-hmm. And I love that sort of like mantra, and I think that builds for the best team. And I think that's even just saying that to someone who's new, they're immediately going to connect with you, or want to connect with you at least. And I think it's a great mindset for hiring. And just like I was fortunate enough that he knew that I was obsessed with fashion. He basically, what used to happen was, when I first met him, James introduced him to me because he wanted James to work in personal shopping really badly. And
did James not want him?
No. And
did James ever go into personal shopping?
No.
Or was he always on the floor?
No, he's always on the floor. And he basically introduced me to Thomas. And ever since then, every time Thomas came to the shop floor, I'd say hi to him, walk him around and show him the new shit, and then just like help style him basically. And from there, he just like knew that I knew my shit, like James knew his shit. And yeah, just from there, I got an interview for that job off nothing more than asking him to have like a 5-minute conversation. Like, it was, I said like, hey, have you got 5 minutes later? So I went upstairs to the offices, sat down with him for 5 minutes and just said like, look, I really want to get into this and this, blah, 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 whatever. And he's like, I think you'd be really good for this. I'm going to speak to Claire, who was my manager at the time, straight after this, and just like say like, you're interested, because like I'd like you to go for it. And that was it. I never knew like the time frame of how everything happened. Yeah. So what was your like friend group at Harrods? Because when I met you, Sanj had stopped working there.
and James had stopped working as well.
Mm-hmm.
So what was your like little gang?
There was loads of people there. It was Max, Yev, Mara was there. Oh, no, Mara left before. There was loads of people.
But you always told me that you had like a little gang and you guys would just walk around and
yeah,
hang out
but
with
that
each
was
other.
like 10 people. Alex was there.
No way.
Yeah, there's loads of people.
10 people?
We're all good, yeah.
That's long.
No, it's not long. It's easy.
Too many people.
No, it was all good. It's the environment in Harrods is like, it's really weird because like there are a lot of nice people there, but there's some prize A pieces of shit there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just whatever. Fuck Harrods. Do you know what I mean? Just
Don't say
not
that.
fuck Harrods, but just like
It did a lot for you.
There's a lot of bullshit that goes on there.
Yeah.
There's a lot. I'm glad. Not fuck Harrods. I'm glad I don't work there anymore. Let's just say that. There's a lot of red tape and a lot of nasty people there.
You got what you needed from it.
Yeah.
And now you're doing great.
Yeah.
So
I'm doing much
that's
better
what's
than
important.
that. Way better than that. But yeah.
So if you could go back, would you change anything?
No. I wouldn't ever change anything. If I could go back, I wouldn't change anything. Ever. You got to live your life how you live your life, you know? Make mistakes, learn from it, fucking do whatever you want. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do what I always do, which is just literally anything I want. Which most of the time is a mistake that I don't learn from, but fuck it. You know?
Yeah.
You feel?
Yeah.
What
Okay.
What else do you want to talk about? What else on the agenda? I know it wasn't just interviewing me about my life, which you already know.
Well, I know, but the people don't know.
Have we decided what to call them yet?
No,
Are we going to give them? Are we going to obnoxiously name our audience?
Nope.
Okay.
So
You're lucky, guys.
let's
just say
talk
that.
about current events.
Okay.
There's something that happened today,
Mm-hmm.
and it really pissed me off.
Okay.
So today is Saturday.
Yep.
Just putting context around it. Today's Saturday, May 16th. And there was a protest in Hyde Park. Which, by the way, why there was protest in Hyde Park? Why is Hyde Park the place for protests?
Just big. Difficult to stop people from doing it.
Because we've encountered, like, multiple protests in
Just
Hyde
an
Park on
easy meeting
accident.
around central London.
It's fucking weird. I mean, at least it's not another park.
What? Regents?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah, you're right. Hyde Park is just so flat and, like, you could easily put,
It's
like...
not about the geography, bro. It's a free public space. It's really big.
But I'm just comparing it to, like, other parks in central London.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, Hyde Park is big and, like, relatively open compared to other parks. I don't know. Anyway, okay, so I'm going to read a clip from a news article. And people... Okay. Protesters brandished banners reading, "This is not about a virus, this is about control," and "No to the new normal." Police took Piers Corbyn, I don't know who that is, away in handcuffs after he joined protests.
Jeremy Corbyn's son, probably.
I don't know who that is.
Okay.
He joined protests with a megaphone proclaiming that, are you ready for this? 5G and the coronavirus pandemic are linked.
Oh, God. Okay, just to let everyone know about 5G and anyone who thinks it's real, look into short length and long length radiation, and also realise that unless you were, and this isn't just 5G, by the way, so this isn't a 5G problem, this is 4G, 3G, if you were hugging one of those towers for your entire life, maybe, but how close you would need to be to one of those to get even the smallest dose of radiation or anything like that where it's killing birds, it's not.
Here's what I have to say.
You would have to just look into the science.
Look.
Do your own unbiased research about the science behind 5G and how like radio wavelength works and like any wavelength is.
Here's what I have to say.
Because long wavelength is not dangerous, short wavelength is, and it's long wave, I think.
If you are one of the people who is really adamant against 5G and the coronavirus pandemic being linked, then
super dumb.
The only way that you can go out in public and make that statement is if you live in the middle of nowhere, away from 5G.
No. There's one ultimate.
Listen.
Wait, listen to this. Okay? Do you know how many countries have put 5G masts up? Yeah? 5 countries in the world. Do you know where coronavirus is? Every single country. There is no correlation. There's no link. Don't even
No. This is what I'm
play
saying.
into it. It's ridiculous.
No, I'm just talking about 5G.
The internet's making people so fucking stupid.
If you have an issue with the possible alleged radiation of 5G, I hope you don't have a smartphone. I hope you don't have any Bluetooth devices.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I hope you don't have any technology in your home. Because do you know what your phone brings? Do you know what your AirPods bring? Do you know what your wireless devices bring?
It's not been proven yet in the long-term study.
Potentially. But you know what? If they believe that 5G and coronavirus are linked, then they probably believe...
Yeah, they shouldn't do anything else.
But what I'm saying is you better have... You don't have a smartphone. Yeah. You don't have... Like any wireless, you don't have Wi-Fi. People say Wi-Fi.
It's like a microwave. It's like a microwave. You wouldn't. It's like you don't hesitate standing next to a microwave. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
And a microwave does nothing to you. Much like these 5G. Like you are never going to be near one. You're never going to be near the mast of a 5G tower.
All I'm saying is that if you're going to make a statement like that, I hope that your lifestyle is suited to the point that you don't have any radiation around you. And you've made that decision.
It's all roadmen on Instagram, like, hyping people up.
So anyway, Mr. Corbyn also called the lockdown a pack of lies to brainwash you and keep you in order.
I hate people.
Okay, and then everyone. David Sampson, I'm calling you out, David. He said he works in finance.
Okay. I'll
never take any advice from David Sampson.
Yeah.
He says... I never thought I'd see in my generation the suppressing of civil rights over a quote-unquote fake virus.
I hate this. And do you know what? I hate it more in America. Because one of my one of my most hated things about America is when they pull and boil everything down to the Constitution and your rights. Guys, I get it. You're fucking bored. And there's some people who are in financial trouble. And I think, to put my, my take on it is that flat quarantine was right in the beginning when we didn't know anything. We very quickly worked out it's not as bad as you think it is, and also there's a lot of stats that are unfair and immeasurable and wrong because some hospitals are fucking some shit up. Some they think a lot more people have it than haven't, which makes it a lot less deadly, which means we shouldn't treat it any differently than any other virus. Blah 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 whatever. No one wants anyone to die either. It's no one's fault. However. Like, there shouldn't be a flat quarantine anymore, in my opinion. I think it should be de-escalated pretty quickly with some precautions around people who are at risk. Because no one wants anyone to die.
Look, okay? I think that we started off all of this on the right track. Quarantine, taking it very seriously before knowing how serious it could have possibly been. Yeah. But I was reading a study about Sweden, because you know Sweden's one of the only countries in Europe that hasn't done lockdown.
Yeah, Max is there.
And talking about why, like, basically what's happened in Sweden. One thing I really like about these studies is that they're, if anyone watched the Elon Musk, Joe Rogan conversation, it's a podcast.
You're doing one right now.
So LA. It's a conversation. So anyway, what Elon said is that, a really good point is that a lot of hospitals, people die and they're like, coronavirus.
Yeah. You could get hit by a bus at the moment, and whether that's true for every hospital or not, I don't know, but I can imagine that even public hospitals would do that.
So, let me get to my point. So basically,
well, America's a bit different because we have public healthcare here, but yeah.
I think America's doing the same thing.
No, he's talking about Americans. Why are you whispering?
We're on a
podcast. There's a microphone here.
Hello. Okay, so anyway, Sweden and other countries, when they made this like study, I don't know if it was a study, but it was an article, and they basically compared the percentage of deaths around this time of the year for the past like X amount of years, comparing it to this year. Yeah. So they compared like average amounts of deaths to right now, and that's how they kind of gauged where the coronavirus is in each country, which I think is probably the most reasonable way to estimate like who coronavirus has gotten to. Because if you have an old person who's like 95 and they just die of natural causes, you can't say that's coronavirus.
Well, what's crazy is that the stats for most countries is that the average age of a coronavirus death is
above
older than the average age of death.
So anyway,
which is mental.
What they said about Sweden is that Sweden actually has, even though that they've stayed out of lockdown, their GDP has dropped 7 to 10% is expected, which is really bad, which is just in line with most other European cities. So their economy is just as affected as everyone else.
Yeah.
And also Sweden has like, I don't know how to explain it. Like their households are not as generational as somewhere like Italy. So in Sweden, like it would be kind of like you and I live in our own place. Our parents live in our own place. Our grandparents live in a different place. Whereas in Italy, you have a little kid in the same house with their grandparents or great grandparents. So the grandparents can very easily, fall very sick from it.
Yeah.
So they were just talking about why Sweden, their numbers are so low, and it doesn't have to do with not being in lockdown.
Yeah.
And it has to do with just how the country is in general.
Yeah.
But what I was going to say is that a flat quarantine was fine in the beginning. But now, like, the UK cannot be in quarantine until July. Is the earliest time that we're meant to be able to go into a restaurant.
Yeah. I mean,
how is the economy?
This is our fault and we shouldn't have done this, but unfortunately, like, the ultimate goal is as little deaths and dismay as possible. So no one wants an economic crash, no one wants people to be out of work, and no one wants anyone to die. Yep. I'd say people dying is number one priority, and then jobs second. Only to a certain point, which is horrible to say. But once we've, like, I have this thing about England, which I hope isn't true, and hopefully I'm misreading it all, which is that maybe it works out in the end that if we just did a flat quarantine once for a little bit, and we did not even quarantine, if we went for herd immunity straight away, we might have actually ended up losing less lives, because the problem is that, like, if you do a flat quarantine that not a lot of people really follow, and then there's a second spike. The second spike might push it over what would have been herd immunity deaths, which would have been a bigger first spike, but then no second spike.
The issue is that actually herd immunity has not been proven.
What do you mean? Like,
it hasn't been proven that if you get coronavirus, you're immune to getting it again.
No, that's any cases so far where you can get it twice have all been from false positives, which means that you're showing it but you don't have it.
Are you sure?
Yeah, from what I've read. Well, the studies in America that I've read.
Well, because what I've read is
there's not a guaranteed group of people that every time they get it that you can get it again. But you can get any flu. Like, for example, at the moment there are a couple of types of coronavirus. Like, it's mutated for sure, but like, it's not mutated to the point where everyone can get it again. Like, that's not... mutation isn't that extreme.
I haven't read enough, but what I've seen is that it hasn't been proven that if you have contracted coronavirus, that you cannot get it again, and that your body has developed the immunity to not get it again.
I think the amount of people that are going to get it again is going to be in the thousands for the world, which is obviously ridiculously low. But again, like, it's got to the point where I think we've proved that, I think we've flattened the curve in most countries. I don't think that we could be overburdened in our NHS anymore. So our biggest issue was that the NHS was going to be overburdened. So if that's not going to happen anymore, and it's not as deadly as any of the disease that we do nowhere near this precautionary level for, what are we doing? Like, but let's go back to normal.
Here's the thing. Even though we have these beliefs that we don't think that this lockdown is the best idea, we are still staying in lockdown. We are still following all the rules that are put on us. I mean, I saw my first friend.
I'm not going to be an asshole and go like, don't, like...
I saw my first friend in over 2 months the other day, and we didn't even hug. Yeah. We touched elbows.
Also, the other thing is, I guarantee you half the people that are protesting are like the people who are protesting in America, which are people who are fucking bored. They're not even out of work. They're just bored. Not, the people who are out of jobs and who need money aren't out there protesting.
Yeah, exactly.
It's people who have jobs, who don't agree with it, who think their civil liberties are at risk and
their constitutional
freedom,
rights and freedom.
And whatever. I don't know what
bullshit.
the fuck we're protesting about. It's like, hey man, you being a little bit bored has probably saved a 90-year-old's life who needed to go to the shop to get some cheese.
Another thing that happened is that protesters in London took part in a group hug in defiance of coronavirus lockdown outside Met Police headquarters.
I understand their like passion against it, but that's just what does that do? That doesn't help anything. They're not going to go, oh cool, they're hugging outside the police station. Let's take off lockdown now.
But he had one person who was arrested.
So dumb.
And he was arrested for like not complying to the police. Like they were asking him to go home and like whatnot, and he wouldn't. Yeah. So he was arrested. And he had a sign up saying "My body, my choice."
Yeah.
Which really pissed me off because it's like, your body, your choice. Okay.
You're also taking that from a campaign of something that actually like really
has
matters.
Absolutely nothing to do with this.
Yeah, it's got nothing to do with it, and it's a serious thing.
And let me just throw in, it is my body and it is my choice. But
I mean, it's not. Again. Should we have this quick debate? I mean, we're on the same page on it, aren't we?
Yeah,
actually, let's not drag that into this.
Yeah, this is just not the time for it. We have about 4 minutes left. But so you know what pissed me off about this is that for someone to so stupidly say "my body, my choice" about a virus that I'm guessing these people are young. Mm-hmm. I saw a video, they don't look very old, and that's like us going outside and not following the rules and saying that like it's my body, my choice, but we don't know if we have contracted the virus and that we're not showing symptoms and that we're going to pass it off to someone in the grocery store or, you know, in some way. Because, look, if you're going around with that mentality that it's my body, my choice, you don't give a fuck about your fucking bodily fluids where you're putting yourself.
It's not even that. Like, I think just as a general thing, I think that, like, I said this a month ago probably when I was having this talk with like Chris and Phil. It's like, I think that we could have a non-flat quarantine with a few health and safety precautions and keep 80 to 90% of things running as normal and focus on helping the at-risk group and making sure they they can quarantine and they don't have to leave the house and whatever. And like, I'm sorry, but it's like, if you are fucking I'm gonna sneeze. Fuck. If you are 25 to 30 and you're healthy, tough shit, man. Like, viruses and flus and shit can kill you. Like, for the first time ever, because I fucking bum him so hard anyway, I was so annoyed that, like, Joe Rogan was like, he's got this one friend, his name's Michael Yo. He's very, very fit, very healthy. He got coronavirus and he nearly died.
Okay.
And he was like, okay, cool. So coronavirus can kill young people. Young people, kids, as horrible as this is, kids can die of cold. Healthy young kids who shouldn't die of that can die of that. Kids get cancer. There's so many horrible things that happen, but just because a few people in that, like, cool, so you know one person who was young out of everyone who got it, which means he said that means everyone's not safe now. And it's like, that's bullshit. There's outliers in everything. There is something hereditary or a unique thing to him that he's got that. That's not everyone. And like, I'm sorry, like coronavirus, if you're 18 and above and you're working up to like 40, 50 and you don't have any health problems, like, get on with it, because if you're at risk, if you are over 50, like really old, obese, underlying health problems, and you get the normal flu, you could die. And now we know that the kill rate is nowhere near what we thought it would be, first of all, and nowhere near what it actually is, which is close to the flu.
Yeah.
Get on with your life. You could die from, if this is the kill rate, that kill rate is the same as random things that you could die of in your life.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's this weird thing that I read in a book one time, and it really resonated with me in like in my underlying anxiety kind of way. And it's about how much trust people actually have in their day-to-day life. So when you cross the road, you have trust in the driver who's there not to go. You have trust in the driver to stop and obey the rules. And you have trust in, you know, at the grocery store, like they have trust in you to do the self-checkout.
Yeah.
And there's so much trust that actually happens in our everyday lives of people just obeying the rules.
Yeah.
And if you apply that like idea to coronavirus, you could die walking across the street. You could die so many different ways. You can die in a car accident. There's so many different ways that you can die that we could be afraid of every single day. And that's just on like the roll of a dice of like it was an accident.
Yeah.
And I have friends that
it's not being draconian. The term is about it. Like it's like why are we doing this for this one thing?
Yeah. But
Makes
at the
no
end of the
sense.
day, what I do want to circle back on is that even though we have these opinions, we're still listening to the government, and as should everyone else. Like, even though I say, like, these people who are saying my body, my choice, they could be spreading it, but then also herd immunity, I just think that we need to be listening to the people who are educated on this. And even if we disagree with what the government has to say, you still need to be listening to them because, like, we're all in this together. Like, it's really not that deep.
Yeah, my whole take on it is that, like, imagine how much we've all sacrificed of time and money, and people are out of jobs and businesses are out of jobs and all this sort of shit to make sure everyone's quarantined. Think about how much money, like, okay, so the we don't want to overburden the NHS, which is a big goal. Now, what percentage, let's take a guess, what percentage of people in the NHS are going to be in that risk group? That's a lot smaller than the general population risk group. It's probably going to be 80 to 90% of the people in the NHS, probably more, 95% of those people are going to be the risk group. So if you take all your focus and all the money and put it on the risk group, and you can help them 3, 4, 5 times more than everyone doing a flat quarantine, and you can make sure no one's affected by the financial crisis that will happen after this, and I'm sure suicides have gone up and all this sort of shit. If you can help them 5-fold and make sure they're okay, and that means you're not overburdening the NHS, they're going to be a lot less deaths in there, and then the rest of us just, I don't want to say, this is the thing, I don't even want to say the rest of us, quote, risk it. We're not risking anything. You risk getting a fucking, you risk getting malaria when you go on holiday somewhere that's got tropic temperature and like climate.
You risk
like
STDs every time that you have sex with someone.
What? So then you're not going to have kids? Like, cool. We're going to stop having sex altogether because that can't happen anymore. Like, it's and I'm not saying that, and I'm not saying like I've been saying that from the beginning. I think it was very important to have a flat quarantine at the beginning when we didn't know the numbers. Agreed. But the fact that all these things came out about how skew with the numbers are, and the fact that they now think that, you know, that
China,
no, like in prison, in like that prison study where they found out that 98% of this prison had got coronavirus, and 90 something else percent of them were fine, or like 98% of them were asymptomatic. So it's like, if we can't even know that, because if you're asymptomatic, how many people are going to have it that we might not know of? We might already be doing herd immunity. So why would you try and flatten that? If that, and they're not healthy people, like you're not living, like some people are in prison, but a lot of them aren't. You put a lot of people put a lot of weight on in prison.
Especially American prisons.
Oh my god, I'm sure same thing for Britain. But anyway, it's like we should have flat quarantined for 2 weeks to a month max, and then very quickly after we found out a lot of the things that have come out, we should be rolling stuff back. And I also agree, like, this is the things, like, you're bored and whatever, doesn't mean anything. Like fucking man up if you're bored or whatever, it doesn't matter.
We're all bored,
but
we're not protesting against it.
Yeah, like literally, get over it. And you can disagree with it, but to protest and do stuff that's not going to even help and just like get yourself in trouble means nothing.
I mean, as an example, Orange County, which is where I grew up, people are protesting against the beaches being closed. I think the whole state of California, the beaches are closed.
Yeah.
And California is bigger than the UK.
Yeah, I know.
So think about how much freaking coastal. Anyway, all of Orange County, the beaches are closed. You know, it's really nice. It's warm. It's like probably like it's been like over 80 degrees, which is like over 20, maybe 30 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
And really nice, like perfect beach weather, but people can't go because there's a fucking pandemic going on. So people are like, next best thing, protest.
Yeah, yeah, it's just weird.
And apparently, I don't know if this is true.
The other thing is they're not taking it away from you to take it away from you to oppress you.
Yeah.
Like, they're not doing it for no reason.
Yeah.
Like, if you stay in...
You're not being oppressed. Shut up.
If you're staying in, you are potentially saving someone's life. Now, I don't think we should be doing that anymore because the financial factors and the other factors that are harming people, not just death, is probably going to overtake the death. Like that dismay side is going to overtake the death side.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just weird, man. It's just
but
weird.
While
people
all of Orange County is
stupid.
In a lockdown, people went out and protested, and now the cases are spiking, obviously. And it really pisses me off because... Like, it pisses me off for the people that are actually following the rules and doing what's told of them to then possibly be exposed to it in the grocery store doing an essential errand.
Yeah. No, it's not even that. Like even if you're... Like, it doesn't...
I know, but I'm really teetering between, like, the whole herd immunity thing and just following...
Yeah. Well, this is the thing, is that, like,
told.
that's my problem. Again, my biggest problem is being a flat quarantine. It's like, do you think... that these people like us who disagree with a flat quarantine are going to be going... Say my grandma lived in London and she lived around the corner. I went to go and see her every day. Do you really think I'd carry on? Like the assumption that you're going to... Because you're against it means that you're going to endanger old people.
Yeah.
Like no one's out there coughing on their older relatives. No one's out there visiting them. They're probably offering help and sending them food and like whatever. Like no one's trying to harm people. Do you know what I mean? It's very dumb. Anyway, I'm too angry. We should stop this shit. Fucking want to get past quarantine and get some fucking DJing on the go and all that shit. Do you know what I mean?
I miss, like, just socializing and, like...
And we don't like people. We're very introvert.
We're very introverted. We just, like, hang out with each other. But I genuinely miss, like, our Saturday, Sunday errands where we just go around, go shopping, see people, say hi, get a coffee, get, like, our local... coffee shop just opened up.
Yeah. One
and
of them.
Yeah. Our favorite restaurants are still not open. Like I don't know. I miss that life of like being able to go grab, you know, a coffee, grab this, grab that.
Yeah. That's cool.
But yeah. Anyway, I hope everyone has a good week.
I don't. Fuck everyone.
Jesus Christ.
Fuck everyone. We don't like
We're so
you.
Different. I'm always like, oh, I hope everyone is doing well, and you're just like, I hope you're all sucking my dick.
Everyone die.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay.
I love you.
See you later.